call the agenda setting meeting for the Beaver County Board of Education on October 16, 2019 to order. Those present are Ms. Robine and myself, William Smith absent, and other board members present, Mr. Stribinger, Mr. Dowling, Mr. Campbell, Dr. Rodriguez, and Robin Cushenberry. There's no one from the public here. We have a motion to approve the agenda.
I move.
All right, I'll second it. Any discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The meeting has been notified. So we're setting the agenda for the two-day work session, but I only see a preliminary for one day here.
Well, because we're moving the meeting till November 15th or 16th, that's too long to recess, so it really ends up being a one-day work session, not unless you decide you want to do something different. So I put 2 days because it's normally 2 days, but and the responses that I have received so far, I've only had 3 people who responded to me about the date, and right now it's November 15th.
Okay.
If we have it November 15th, the legislative breakfast is that morning. That's Friday morning, and it starts at 8. It's usually over with by 10. So board members are invited to the breakfast. We usually ask board members to come to the breakfast. So we could start the work session, the training like at 11 or 11:30, and go that afternoon up
And
to
where is the breakfast?
here in this
Here.
room.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
in this room, and
Okay.
so we figured we'd need probably about a 45-minute turnover from the room setup. So that would be the only issue if we had it on the 15th. I emailed Dr. Torrey, and 15th would be fine for her as well,
Okay.
if we do it on the 15th.
All right.
So the reason, so you only have the Friday, the 25th,
Mm-hmm.
because that's
Okay.
when we start, but I know for sure.
Okay.
So that's a,
So, all right, so let's go to Friday, October 25th. We got breakfast and then Google agenda, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, most of this, so 3 hours on the board budget workshop,
if that's,
and that will be the committee's giving input.
so is that enough time
I
to,
think that's probably perfect. We have a 45-minute lunch. Then we're gonna talk about the 2020 school board meeting calendar.
and then I didn't know how to title it, but Lynn Stokes Murray, the lobbyist, would be coming from 1 to 2.
Yeah,
And to give you an update of.
Or information.
Or
but-
information.
yeah.
I mean,
It's an informational session, what they
Okay.
provide,
Okay.
right, for their services and the cost, blah, blah, blah.
Because it's really for us to decide then whether we are going to hire them.
Well, we have to put out an RFP,
RFP,
but we
okay.
need to know, what do you do for those things?
Okay.
And, yeah,
Because is this the lobbyist that works for the county as
Yes.
well? And
Yes.
last year, we didn't
Correct.
go in with that because it was late in the year. We were able to get them in to come and talk to us, I think is the.
yeah, we
that's
tried
the
several
issue.
times,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
The April work session, the August work session, yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. Mr. Dowell?
Could I ask a question about the abbreviation from 2 days to 1 day?
Go ahead.
Could you expound a little bit on again, the reasons that we're postponing day 2?
Because, well, what happened is the people that were supposed to come on day 2 can't come. And so why are we gonna have a workshop or a work session, excuse me, if we don't have the people that need to be there.
Was there anything else that needed to be talked about besides these people? How much of the agenda were they gonna take up?
Well, I think quite a bit, because, you know, Dr. Rodriguez, and he can chime in as well, you know, on his evaluation, one of the things was a workshop, I believe is what you called it. I think previously maybe retreat.
Yeah, we called it a retreat before, but changed the terminology of it, since it's not really a retreat, we're
Yeah.
not going away from, public to do it.
Right.
I don't wanna give that impression, so we call it a workshop instead,
So
just to,
strategic governance, which is
Yeah.
a big part of our district,
you know.
and
That
his
fits, that fits in as one of, I think, the workshops that would be viable to have, that would be a good idea to have.
Oh, I think it's viable too. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering if there aren't any other worthwhile issues that we could have had a meeting about anyway. There are some outstanding agenda requests by board members that might not necessarily be put off because someone else can't come. And the other question I have is, on the agenda for Friday, we have the approval of the 2020 school board meeting calendar. What good is that if, when the board approves the calendar, changes are made to the calendar without board approval?
we can vote on it, John.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
We can vote on it if you would like. It doesn't matter. I mean, if.
It matters, yes, I think it matters.
Well, that's fine then. We can vote on it. We're giving everybody the opportunity to weigh in. Did you weigh in?
No, we didn't vote last night.
Well, that's fine. We can vote on October 25th. That's fine. It wasn't even this board that voted on that calendar.
I think the full board should have since the full board approves the calendar, the full board should have the opportunity to vote on any changes to the calendar.
Yes, and an answer to that too, John, is it wasn't this board that approved that calendar. Do you remember that?
It wasn't?
No,
It wasn't this board?
no,
It was the school board in force at the time.
correct.
The vote is
But it
silent.
wasn't the current members.
It doesn't matter, that's superfluous. Okay, so, in other words, so these people were so important that we're going to not deal with anything else that's in front of the board until November 15th or 16th, at which time we'll have the same jam on agenda items as we would have had. Had we had those again. We have Dr. Wisniewski's request, we have my request, we have the TCL ongoing investigation
This was from the
that
previous.
the board could use an update on, now that the board has engaged counsel.
I don't think the board's engaged.
So I want to
Excuse me,
clarify.
now that the district has engaged
Yeah, so
counsel.
let me clarify that for a minute, because, I think
Could
it's,
we stay on what I'm talking about?
we can stand wherever you want, but you brought up TCL, not me, so I'd like to be able to address it if.
Go ahead.
So the TCL issue, right, there was a lot of emails flying around back and forth between board members around, or from board members around the TCL issue. So I thought it was a good idea to engage legal counsel, and because the email was coming from board members, I thought it was an even better idea to use a board-approved attorney in that case.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more.
Which is what I did.
Yeah, so we should talk about that, okay? And we should talk about it, we could talk about it on the 26th, where we're to have a work session.
If there's anything to share at that time, I mean, I don't have
Well,
anything.
it had not even been announced to the board that you had engaged.
That's not true. I sent an email on October 2nd to the
That you
entire
were
board.
going to.
Yes.
You didn't say that you did. that
Well,
you
John,
had.
if I say I'm gonna do something, I do it. I mean, if I say I'm gonna do it, I do it,
All right, okay.
you know? I mean, so.
I think that now that the announcement's been made to the public that we're not having that meeting on the 26th, that, it's, we took it off. You know, I feel like, we can still vote on which November day we want. I don't know, that's my take on it.
You have room on the calendar, you have room on the Friday, the 25th agenda to put whatever else you want to put on.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But you don't have staff here on the 26th. Wendy is not available on the
That was
26th.
the other-
Mary Stratus is not
yeah,
available
that was
on
the
the
whole problem.
26th. So you don't have staff
Mel.
available on the 26th.
Mel,
And two of the items that were on the future policies, that falls under strategic governance, that's
Right.
covered under the workshop. So that would fall under the workshop on the 15th and 16th, because that was dealing with strategic governance.
And my future agenda topic list here, the only thing that I had specifically for the work session on it was the policy committee, and as Robin just pointed out, Wendy will not be here on October 26th, and she is the administrative liaison, and it goes with strategic governance, so it should go when that other lady can come, Ms. Corey. And the job description is Robin's, which is already on this schedule from 2 to 2:30. So we can add stuff at 3:30, after 2:30. But, the update on the RFP for the P-card audit grant writer and auditor and the municipal advisors, I had marked for November. Would you have something ready for the board for the work session on that topic?
I think we can vote.
So that could be at 2:30. How much?
Really, the job description should take 30 minutes, because everybody's seen it. There were 2 changes that were asked to be made. They've been made, so it's just showing it.
So really it's not.
So what would
It
you
can
say?
fall up under the board meeting calendar.
Well, I would say 15 minutes.
15 minutes, okay, so 2 to 2:15?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think that there were questions about whether we needed to vote on that. And according to Ms. Walton, it's not something we vote on, but she will be, I'd like her to be here that day just so those.
I'll call her, what's something that we go on?
No, some board members felt like when the job description for our executive assistant, remember we made some changes?
Right.
Added to it, added some expectations. And when we rolled that out, when I shared it with the board, I can't remember when it was,
Is that the last work session?
when I shared it with the board at the last work session, there were 2 things on there that were asked to be changed. One was to be deleted, and it was something about giving work assigned from principals, and I don't have it right in front of me. And the other was who she reports to. So those things had been changed. You remember, John, I think you were one of the people. So those things have been taken out, so we just need to roll it back in front of the board so we can move forward with that process of getting the things that we've added to it. Then the form will be turned over to HR, and the job expectations, the specific things that we added to it, will be rolled in to the evaluation form, to the metric, to the form. So,
Did we have a third reading on that? I thought we
it's
had a
not,
second.
it's not policy. This is what I'm saying, we're just bringing it back with the corrections that were made.
Okay. And you said that we're waiting on an attorney for that?
No,
But-
no.
So I'll give clarification. You were saying that you were waiting on, you wanted Alice Bolton to be there that day, is that what you're saying?
Yes, I'd like Alice to be here because it's under her purview, human resources purview.
And also, I would like some clarity on that as well, to see who's really clear, because if someone's working for us, then technically speaking, I believe that they have nothing to do with the district part of the district. I mean, I think that that's kind of, I think that's like a right on the fence right there. when we go to HR department, who works directly for the superintendent, who's not attached to us, when we go to them, I think that's something that we need to be careful of getting direction from that department. And nothing says it's wrong, but I would like more clarity on that. I mean,
That can be discussed at the time of
okay, no problem.
the, okay.
Just a point of clarification, Kathy, what was the reason for having Alice involved, like you said?
Because, it was, I think you said, John, I don't know who said it, doesn't matter. Somebody said, we have to vote on this. And Alice told me when I was working with her on it throughout this process, that it was not something that needed a vote, that wasn't voted on originally. So she needs to be there to explain the human resources component of it and how it was developed originally, and that's why I want her there, because I can't answer that.
Since people are talking out of both sides of their mouth on this, I think it would be good to have everybody involved and have a conversation. In fairness to Robin, because if you ask somebody on Monday who she works for, you'll get the board. If you ask them on a Tuesday, she works for HR. And that's not fair to her, and we gotta get that straightened out once it's done. So anyway, back to my original question. I would just ask that the next time a board-approved calendar is going to be changed, that it be changed by the board, regardless of who the current population of the board is, and not just announced at a meeting arbitrarily.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
So on that, when we add all these special called meetings, that none of those meetings, the committee meetings, are on the calendar. Do we need to take a vote on that to change the calendars each and every time? Because that's changing the board-approved calendar. So when we have all
The
the,
assumption with the board calendar is that the chair has the prerogative to call special call meetings. There is no vehicle in the vote for the board calendar to have it arbitrarily shuffled around, so.
I think I lost it.
Well,
Okay.
we can call November 15th or 16th a special call meeting, if that's, I think it's kind of splitting hairs. We need the people here that can help us with the topics, and we need the staff here for these topics. That's the whole reason.
Well, all due respect, I was very shocked last night when the announcement came that we are not going to have a work session on the 27th. And as an officer, I was lost and I felt some type of way that I heard that at that meeting last night and not prior to last night. So I want to know where did it actually, where did it actually come from? Because I was shocked that we weren't going to be on the 26th and the 29th and the 27th. And the agenda setting for that meeting is today.
Right.
So,
I don't know, because I didn't know either. I mean, we're all in the same boat, William.
I mean-
But the reasoning has been explained.
Yeah, go ahead, David.
I would suggest that the next time, you don't announce it before you have your agenda setting meeting. Because just the next time I would wait till after you have your agenda setting meeting and discuss this. Right. Because then it looks like you didn't consult everyone.
And I think part of the reason is that Robin has had a great deal of difficulty
No, I get that.
tracking down the person who's actually going to speak, and she's literally just, I think the same day you told me that hey, this person can't, she told you that day that she could come on November 15th, so that's.
So you're on the fence now between
Right.
transparency and optics.
Oh,
Fully transparent because you knew that, and yet the optics were that you did it before you had an agenda meeting. So I would just suggest next time, wait for the agenda setting meeting and not announce it.
or you can continue
And
to
then you
have
can-
the 26th if you have other agenda items, and then the 15th or the 16th can be a special called meeting. So if you
That's
have,
another possibility.
so you have not taken away, hence why the agenda says today a 2-day work session. So if you have other items that you want to put on for the 26th, you put on the 26th. You just won't be doing the strategic governance. You won't have staff here on the 26th.
Right.
If you have other board objects, then as setting the agenda for that, you can do that. And then the 15th or 16th, whatever day the board has, right now, only 3 board members have answered for the 15th. Then that's a special call meeting.
Right, we do that.
So,
So, all right, so let's go back to, yes, Mr. Dowell?
One last thing, hopefully keep quiet. But I ask everybody to speak up. There's no way the camera's picking up that audio. So we need these videos to establish a record for us and the public about who says what at what time. So let's not defeat the purpose by mumbling. Okay? Speak up for the camera, please.
So Dr. Rodriguez, for 2:15, if you do, you or your staff does the update on the RFPs, how long do you think that would be?
I think it depends on how many questions come after that. I'd say they could surmise the information in maybe 15 minutes and another 15 minutes for a question answer.
Okay,
So maybe 30 minutes.
all right, so that would be to 2:45. So those are gonna be the update on RFPs, right?
And so the only other thing that I have on mine
Yeah.
that don't require, Wendy to be here would be, the MCIP review. Did you want to, would there be anything to report other than?
I'd have to, honestly, I'd have to check with them and see. I think he's looking into it now. So, I don't know if you have anything like that, but I can check into it.
There was one other thing that was in an email, that was kind of couched in the aspects of safety, and it was bullying and mental health.
We can do something on mental health as well.
That
In
was
terms of how we're
requested.
currently organized and structured to support mental health.
And how would that be different from that crisis, we had like, I don't know, what was it, crisis management, or that included mental health in that,
Yeah.
as I recall?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
Mr.
That
Kim?
it would be radically different if we just share how we manage mental aspects.
Which the public probably would like to know.
Are we changing the agenda now, going back to the 26th?
It doesn't seem like we've decided that yet. We're still working, this is October 25th. So we're adding, to make it clear, that what we changed was the last item here is 2 to 2:15, the board's executive assistant's job description. And then 2:15 to 2:45 is update on those RFPs. That would be P-card audit, grant writer, auditor, municipal advisors.
The reason I asked that,
Okay.
the board executive assistant job description, we already went over that. You only got 2 changes, right?
Right.
Why can't you just send an email, a copy of it, to every board member, instead of discussing it? We don't need to discuss this no more. We waste so much time.
That's
You know?
fine with me.
Yeah, it works for me. I'll be
Doesn't
glad
make
to do
sense.
that.
We sit around, we talk about prolonged meetings. That's the reason why we prolong meetings, because we sit up and talk about stuff that we don't need to be talking about. Send the information. I don't need to sit down and somebody explain something to me. Tell me where. Now, as far as Ms. Cushionberry's job and Molly's, we may hire them, but they come under HR. They come under HR, and that's in every school district you go to. You know, so what? We waste time talking about things that take 1 minute, you could solve it.
Ms. Figures is next.
Oh, I was just gonna say that if we do something with mental health, which I think is a really good idea, I'm wondering, somebody from Coastal Empire Mental Health would be available, because since we do work with them, as they're the therapeutic counselors versus our guidance counselors, who are not therapeutic counselors, it might be just informative.
Yep.
Mr. Smith?
I hear what Mr. Campbell was saying, but all due respect, this job description, if it's gonna take a couple of minutes, then it needs to go ahead and take a couple of minutes, whether it's gonna be 2 or 3 minutes, it can go in board docs the night before. And if we have any questions, then we answer them, but they don't need to come off, that's respectfully, that's his opinion, but my opinion is different, so I disagree. And I hear everything what he's saying, I convey his message, but it needs to stay on. And also, we won't have that in writing, so there are some questions that I do have that think we need to have a discussion. So,
Does anybody else have an opinion on that topic?
Right, any of the officers agree with that, not have to discuss it now, because that was out of order. I think it's just great to make the bullet points and decide that, but to have a discussion about it is really out of order. But that's not.
Well, to whether to include it or not on the agenda is what I mean.
It was already on the agenda, so discussing the topic and discussing how we feel about it, it was kind of.
Well, it's how it's gonna be handled. I don't care either way, it doesn't bother me at all.
I know, but I'm just saying that's ask that question out of order.
I think we're trying to decide whether we should keep it on the agenda. You know, when we come to the agenda setting meetings, we have drafts all the time, and we sit here and we look at, you know, what's up, and we take things off, and we add things on, so I think that's okay. So, you know, I think if we limit it to 15 minutes, it looks to me that we can get everything in on this Friday and not have the Saturday meeting, and then have another one. The other thing that would do is it does save us money. You know, having another full day meeting costs us $1,100.
I was gonna get one.
Plus mileage.
So since we can take care of those things, and the other things that, to me, it makes sense with the strategic governance, the topics that need to be addressed, get into strategic governance. So to have them on that day, that would be my preference.
So going back, to try to finish this, thank you, we'll keep the 2 to 2:15, the board's executive assistant's job description, 2:15 to 2:45, update on the RFPs, and 2:45 to what time mental health? What do you say? A half an hour?
Yeah.
45 minutes?
I'd like 45 minutes.
Okay.
3:30,
That's fine,
right?
3:30, so that seems like a good end time.
So from 2:45 to 3:30.
Yeah,
2:45.
so that's 45 minutes.
Now that's me what the time was. I purchased it.
Yeah, and
2:45 to
the RFPs is 30 minutes, and the executive session is 15, and the lobbyist 1 hour after. Okay. All right, and we can, whatever the board would like to call the November 15th or 16th meeting is fine with me. If you want to call it a special call meeting, don't call it a work session, that's fine. I don't think it really matters. I think it's the topics that we need to discuss that's more important.
Right.
Why do you think have we ever had a special call work session before?
I don't know if it's been a work session. I guess you could also call this a workshop, since it's part of Dr. Rodriguez's evaluation. Yeah. So why don't we go ahead and set the agenda for November 15 or 16, we don't know which day. And have you heard from Ms. Torrey, the one that's the strategic governance? So I guess it looks like it's probably gonna be the 15th from the responses you have so far.
I've gotten 2 responses.
2?
I've only gotten 2.
Oh, so we don't really know.
Or 3, I'm sorry. 3.
Okay.
15.
Okay, 4.
I can do
Anybody
either.
else?
I can do either.
Tuesday, June the 4th.
I can do either.
I don't have a quorum yet to decide if it's the 15th or the 16th.
Well, on the 15th, we would start later in the day because of the legislative
Right.
breakfast.
Correct.
And where is Ms. Tori coming from?
She would be at, she lives in Columbia, but she said that weekend she would be at St. Simon, so she would be coming here from St. Simon.
So that would probably be fine with her to start late morning. Yeah. Do you know how long her?
She said, after she spoke with you and Dr. Rodriguez about, she thought 6 hours, but if, she said it would typically be about a 6 hour if we're talking about strategic governance and all the components and everything that's in it.
Uh-huh.
It would be about a 6 hour day.
Well,
Or Michigan, so.
That sounds like.
That's the agenda.
That's the
That's the
agenda. That would be the agenda.
Well, 6 hours.
But she can do it, in less time, but she said an average of 6 hours.
Uh-huh. All right. I don't think we could, especially if we start at 11, we
Right.
I don't think we can do much else.
And what's your purpose of coming in?
She's going to talk about strategic governance for the board as a whole. And that relates to Dr. Rodriguez's duties and evaluation.
Right. And how do we get her?
Well, we got her because Robin started, first of all, there's only a little bit of background. There's only 2, I believe, districts in the state that have a strategic governance policy or plan, or I guess you'd say structure like we do. I believe it's Horry County is the other one. And so Robin contacted the person that actually came a few years ago to give the.
She is the superintendent of Charleston, and Superintendent Dorita Postaway. I contacted her as well as the School Boards Association, who gave us 2 names. So the person who did the training in Horry County for Charleston, that gentleman lives in Houston, Texas, and his cost would be exorbitant, and he couldn't come because he was coming from Houston, and right now, and then Dr. Tori, who is the director of Transform South Carolina, is in Columbia. She is also another trainer for strategic governance, and she is one of the 3 who is available to do that. So that's how we got the 30.
Will there be a discussion after that to see if the board still wants to do strategic governance? Since it's 22 in the state, it's obvious that it's optional.
Well, and maybe it shouldn't be at that same time too. Maybe it should be, we get the information digested
All right,
and
I'll
decide
send you an
another
email
time.
requesting the agenda item, okay? After the info.
Is there, in this presentation, is there going to be other options other than strategic governance discussed?
No, she's coming to
So
train,
they can talk
she's
about
coming,
how-
because the
That's what
board,
we're currently in.
you're operating under strategic
I
governance.
understand that.
Yeah.
So she is coming to give the whole board, since there are new board members, so that you would understand the whole idea of what the PEs are for and so forth, the whole picture. So she was coming to explain what strategic governance is, to answer your questions, to figure out how everything goes. To go with the 5-year strategic plan is coming up. So that's why Dr. Stratas needed to be here, because we're in the process of working on our 5-year. So she's coming to explain how how all those pieces come together.
Well, I can ask a backup question. How long have we been in strategic governance?
We've been under
What did we
strategic.
switch out to get into
Yeah.
strategic governance?
So I can tell you, we've been under strategic governance since Valerie Truesdale, when she was the superintendent. That's where we moved to strategic governance.
What were we in before?
We were under policy governance.
So 2 out of 82, there's 82 school districts in the state, isn't it? That's the number.
I think it's 81.
Anyway, so 2 out of 81 use strategic governance. Is that the case?
I believe so.
Okay. I think it might be worthwhile talking about.
Mr. Strickland?
Maybe Earl could give us some background on why you went to strategic governance.
In fact, we was under, when Mr. Gaither was here, He was under,
Policy governance.
policy governance. And then when the new boards came in, Dr. Truitt got here, they decided, well, they didn't like that. Because policy governance, it also affect board behavior. And some board didn't like that, nobody questioned them, so they got away from that. And even under strategic governance, we still do not do what we're supposed to do. We disagree with the South Carolina School Board Association, and they've been at it longer than we have, And that's the reason why I always say, every 11 board members need training. And if you don't go to training, you can come with your opinion, but that don't mean your opinion is always right. So that's where all that came from. And
So it's been about 12 years then,
Yeah.
I think, because I think Truesdale was here around 2007.
Right.
2007, is that about right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So about 12 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how much of the presentation is how the organization of the theory of strategic governance works? And how much of it is board behavior? Are these people qualified to talk about board behavior?
I think they're qualified because they have been superintendents of boards. The lady in Charleston, she was the superintendent of Horry County for years. And then she went to Charleston County. And I think board behavior has a lot to do with student achievement. But not only that, let me tell you, I was at a meeting a month ago, and a teacher said to me, Mr. Campbell, she says, I really embarrassed when I watch the meetings. And she said, students have come to her and said they're embarrassed because the way our behavior. And just because some folks don't say nothing about it, there are folks out there are dissatisfied the way this board acts.
Mr. Scrivener.
When she does a presentation, will she give us a contract with how strategic
Well, I
governance
can-
is different
Yes,
from
I
all
mean,
the
as
other
I,
ones?
as I already mentioned,
We will
we
do
just
that.
arranged that she
Right.
could come on
Yeah.
November
Okay.
15th,
Yeah,
Tuesday,
suggested,
so
perhaps.
we have not communicated. I have not
She's
communicated.
gonna talk
So it seems like
to,
you and I.
she's gonna talk to the two of them to find out what it is, and she puts her proposal together. She has not even been hired.
Right.
It's just, are you available? She's gonna put her proposal together. She's gonna submit that after she talks with Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Watts to figure out what it is that the board wants. And so all your feedback, they can communicate. I just got the person.
How is she coming up with a 6-hour presentation?
It can be adjusted. She
No, I
said,
mean-
she said it's an average.
Yeah.
I asked her for an average, and so she's gonna get the details from Dr. Rodriguez and from Dr. Watts as to what it is that they want for the workshop. And she's gonna put a proposal together to say, yes, I can do this, or no, that's not, I can't do it, and then we'll start all over again if need be.
May I suggest that the board decide what the board wants and needs and not leave it up to people? Have her come and talk to the board before we invest in her coming, rather than
She's gonna come up with a
no
recommendation.
answer. Oh,
She's gonna come with a recommendation. Now, we can accept a recommendation or not.
Right, I think that,
And that's all we do.
and that's just more practical than
Yeah,
bringing
listen to
somebody
our
from
recommendation. And
several
if we
hours
disagree
away and
with it,
say,
then we go from there.
So we had strategic governance since 2007.
and how much does she cost?
She has not put her proposal together yet, because so she's going to present that.
Ballpark it?
I don't have, I just got the person and the logistics, she's gonna talk to them, and then once they tell what it is that we're gonna do, what time frame, how much we're gonna, then she'll be able to put that
And
together.
I'm proposing that we tell, not they tell.
Then we tell what, John?
The board decide what it wants to discuss with this person, not just the chair and the superintendent.
Well, the purpose was for strategic governance. That's what I told her. I asked if we were coming for strategic governance training because we have a majority of a new board who doesn't understand what strategic governance is. And then we have a new superintendent and a new senior staff. So she was coming to come and talk about what strategic governance is, how it works, how the pieces go together, and how it affects with our strategic plan. That's what the topic was about. It was strictly about strategic governance.
That's a good
It's
explanation.
not about board relation, it's all about what strategic governance is, how it works, how the pieces work together. This is what it's supposed to look like, is what she was coming to do.
That's a great explanation. So
Yeah.
it's not
So-
necessarily what we should do, it's what we do if we elect
We-
to follow this.
No, we're already in strategic governance.
Yes.
She's coming to say, this is what it's supposed to be,
Yeah.
this is what it's supposed to work like. She's coming to explain what strategic governance is.
Right. And I will be suggesting an agenda item to revisit the whole idea of whether we do this or not. That's where I'm coming from. Okay.
Right, so we need to finish. You want to make a motion to adjourn?
Can I,
That's it.
can I get one question about the 25th, because I have to walk out
Yes.
right quick. So on the 25th, we have from 2:45 to
3:30 mental health.
3:30 mental health.
I can give you this one.
Got you, got it.
And then November 15th, seems like it's going to be our second day.
Well,
We're still
we'll wait
waiting
until we
for
get,
input?
yeah, we said board members could respond through tomorrow.
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
all right. Okay. And that's going to be the strategic governance presentation.
Yep.
Anything else? Did we set our next agenda setting meeting?
We did already, and we said that was gonna be on the 28th. Yes.
Okay.